Bonjour, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexonia and welcome to the summer solstice. Today is the longest day of the year and we should take notes from our ancestors because they knew that on this day they knew how to harness the powers of the earth through the structures of all the sites that we have today, like Stonehenge and Newgrange and Karnak and all these amazing places. So they knew how to harness the energy. But you don't actually have to go to these places, mind you. That's probably where all the elites of the world are right now. I guarantee you this much. But just grounding and going outside and going by the lake and just sitting still and taking it all in and giving thanks to Mother Earth. And this is something wonderful to do. And I drove by a, how do you call those things? Like a billboard. And it was written, "What would you do if the birds stopped singing?" And I just thought that was like a weird billboard, first of all, but then it makes you really think that, we take a lot of things for granted and we actually should pay more attention to these things. So in today's video, I would like to be, well, first of all, from my last video, I don't know if you've watched the last video, but if you haven't, you should check it out because honestly, the things that I see and go through is pretty unbelievable. I was off for 8 months from this experience. So just because everything had to heal and it was very important that I didn't get any infection in my whole operation and everything. And at the same time, I wasn't right in my head after seeing this. So prior to this, I was, huge faith, and like I've said before, faith in the divine and not religion, because I think that we all come with a truth mechanism, and some people's truth mechanism works a little bit better than others, but so I had like a huge faith, and after seeing that, I put everything in question and I wasn't sure anymore. So I had to get right with God, as it called, I think that's the expression that you use. And I had to get my faith back because I was really, this was very, very hard for me. So, like I said, I was off for 8 months and I'm an artist. So you name it, I do everything. I'm like a little Geppetto, I paint, I sew, so I started painting like tons of paintings, and I started sewing pillows and throws and making candles, making jewelry, and I used to make like these little footstools, and they're called poufs in French, and you name it. I made so much stuff that I filled a whole container, our garage, one of our garages, jam-packed with all the stuff that I had made. And every day I would go on the side of the lake walking with my dogs, and because I was making so much stuff, that going out was like my way of like getting some exercise and grounding at the same time. And then I was just coming up the street from my walk, and we have like a street where there's stores and stuff like that on the end of my street. And I just passed in front of the store, and it had like a for rent sign, and I was like, and then I got like, I call them downloads, but you should open a store. And I was like, yeah, I should totally open a store because I have enough merchandise to open a store. So yeah, what a great idea, you know? So I went home and I discussed it with Jay and discussed it with my mother. And this happened so quickly that I'm gonna tell you that it was just like when something is supposed to happen, it's easy. There's no ifs, buts, or whats, or how is this gonna work, or how am I gonna be doing this, or whatever. Everything aligns to that's how it is because it's meant to be. So it's part of your path. So everything's easy. So this is what happened. I talked to my grandmother. My grandmother was like, yeah, you should. Here's $5,000, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went straight to work. I designed my sign. I designed the decal on the window. I hired, it was a friend of ours, a carpenter, and he did the platform in my window, and he built a desk for me as well. So everything was going like I took a month, like just to get everything prepared. And you know, I never owned a store before. I had no clue, but it was all instinct. Everything was like instinct, like I'd done it like a million times. So I painted the walls, cleaned the carpet, cleaned the floors. At the back I had like an atelier, a little studio, so I could put all like my paints and my beads and my fabric and stuff like that. And I used to refurbish furniture as well. So I give them a second life. So I did all that. I'm telling you, I had so much stuff. My store was 1,200 square foot, and I filled the whole store with all the stuff that I had made. So I had a grand opening, and it was just fabulous, and it was just weird in the sense that it was all my creations. Like nothing was bought from nowhere. Like it was everything that was in the store I had made. So it was quite you know, like a proud moment for me, like especially after like everything that had happened to me, you know. So the way that the store is positioned, where my desk was, I had a clear view of the lake. And that was strategic because the lake is my favorite thing in the whole world. That is like, that's where I want to be. I want a house on the lake, and that's my dream. And so I would just sit there and like many times like just completely zone out, you know, and like whatever, just look at the lake. And one day, out of the blue, one more strange thing that happens to me. My door was open, and a bubble comes into the store. And I'm thinking it's kids blowing bubbles, right? Like, and it had just came into the store. So it was about this big, and it was so beautiful. Like, you know how a bubble, it has like the colors. Actually, like I brought this is the ring that I wear like a lot of the times. So I don't know if you could see the colors from that. That's exactly what this thing looked like. All pastel colors, and it was just magnificent. And it was just hovering there. It was just hovering. And again, you could see that it's I don't know if the word is undulating. Sorry, French here. Yeah, so it and it's moving extremely slow, but you could see that it's, and oh, the feeling that it brought me, because ever since I seen that thing over the lake, and what happened to me. I had like this anxiety in my chest, that I just could not get rid of this anxiety. No matter how many paintings, no matter how many things I made, I just couldn't remove this anxiety that I had inside of me. And the second that this thing came into my store, it kind of relieved me from that anxiety. And I'm just looking at it, and it's communicating with me, but I don't understand what language that is. But at the same time, it's they don't use words, it's all feeling. So, but it's strange, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna take everything that is going to help me. So like, this thing is just floating in my store, and thank you, God, for bringing it there, for restoring my faith in other things now, So anyways, so this thing moves completely to the back of my store. So I go towards it, because I want to know like where it's going, and what is it going to do, and so I move halfway through the store, and then it came back. So I just kind of backed up, and I went like next to my desk, and then I just stayed there, and it just like went in front of me, and it was just so beautiful and mesmerizing. It felt like a soul. It felt like if I had to put what this thing was, it was feminine, first of all. That's and gender outside of this planet is not, it's not a thing. It's here, that it's, because we have duality, right? But it felt feminine, and it felt nurturing, and it felt, is this the way that Mary appears to me now, because I'm older and I can't see the forms that I did when I was younger? I have no idea. I have no idea what it was, and still to this day, I still don't know. But all I do know is that it did bring me the peace that I wanted. Sorry about that, but the garbage truck was going by, and it's extremely loud, and I don't have a microphone. I'm using just my camera microphone, but I noticed that you could hear everything in the backdrop, including my stomach growling sometimes. Anyways, getting back to my bubble, because at that time I hadn't heard the word that they use today, which is an orb. To me, I kept referring to it as the bubble. So like I said, it's still in front of me, and it's just the most beautiful and the peaceful feeling that I'm getting, and it's just like so beautiful. I'm sorry, I probably said that a lot, but that's what it was. And it's not like it flew out of the store. It's almost like, how I was explaining in the one video, how like space and time open. Well, it was basically like it was there, and then it was not. But it looks like it's going into something. It looks like it's going into another dimension, I guess, So that was that experience, and it really helped me, because it got rid of all that anxiety that I had. And I'm so thankful for all these things that are happening to me, that are relieving me from the stress and the heartache that I had, and all these things. Anyways, I had another encounter with something very similar to that, but not the same. I was at my house, sitting on the couch, watching TV, and all of a sudden, it felt like somebody had like just thrown something at the window behind me. So I went like this. So I, give me a heart attack. I turn around, and these two orbs, a big one and a small one, and they weren't multicolored like this. They were white. They were just like static white, and then they just went in. They went into my kitchen, and then they left, and then they made that same noise when they left. So this was completely different. It had nothing to do with the orb that came into my store. It was, I have no idea. I don't know what that was, but it made a noise when it impacted through the window, in and out. But it didn't break the glass. The glass was perfectly fine. When I saw that, I went outside. I don't know what I was expecting for it to wait for me. I have no idea. You don't know. These things are so crazy and so unexpected that it just leaves you puzzled. And as soon as you think you know it all, you know nothing. I'm telling you this right now, because you go into a rabbit hole, and then the deeper the rabbit hole, it just gives you another rabbit hole, and like forever, you'll never know everything, that's for sure. Another thing that happened to me was, again, sitting on the couch, and it lasted like couple seconds, but in those couple of seconds I knew everything, and I went, oh my God, and it leaves. As soon as it came, it left, but like I just got a glimpse of reality, because if you read A Course in Miracles, we live in a dream. So once you wrap your head around that one, then there is no wrapping your head around any of it, because we live in a 3D world, and yeah, you know what I'm saying. So these are my orb experience, and later on, and I'm telling you, later on, like this happened in like, the orb came into the store in 1999, and the two orbs, it was in 2001. So I mean, we're in 2025, so I have a lot more stories from here to then. It's just incredible. But oh yeah, I wanted to say that when I saw, so one day Jay was watching a movie, and I was doing something else. I wasn't really paying attention to his movie, but I did pass in front of the TV, and he was watching Minority Report. And they have like the cameras that are like in midair, right? And I was like, oh my God, like this is the camera that I saw, like in the room. And it was just like I was just so happy that I could have like a reference to what I saw, which made no sense to me, but nevertheless I saw it. So, and then the orb that came into the store, I was watching The Wizard of Oz, and when Dorothy arrives in Oz, and Glenda, the good witch, comes to her in an orb of multicolored, like this is another example, actually. Like I keep finding these things, and I just buy them because they remind me of it. So it's you could see the pink, the yellow, the green, the purple. It's just unbelievable, and this is what this orb looked like. So when I saw that in Wizard of Oz, I'm thinking, people know. And then Minority Report with the camera, with the computer screen, I go, some people know a lot more than what they're telling us. And yeah, they know a lot more, and that's all I have to say about that, right? So anyways, that was my orb experience, and there's a lot more experiences to go, because this is only the beginning. I mean, this is only like my fourth experience now since I met Jay. So tie your seatbelt because there's a lot more to come. So in the meantime, I love you, and we are one. And once we all wake up, we see the game and the school and why we came here and the decisions that we make and everything else. And it makes a lot more sense once you see from inside out, or inside, whatever, however that works. But yeah, it makes more sense. So I hope that everybody awakens this weekend with the summer solstice, and I see you in my next video. Bye.